Welcome to the Austin James Haines podcast. Time to get free, stay present, and move forward. So, have you heard the quote, all progress takes place outside the comfort zone? Well, this gentleman next to me, John Bobak, created that quote. And he just told me before we went live that it's been reproduced about 30 million times. We're going to talk about that. But I want to welcome you to the show. It's time to get free, stay present, and move forward. And think about that. And think about your comfort zone. And think about what's going on in your life. And think about what you can draw from this interview today. Because there's going to be a lot. And I'm going to share a little bit about John Bobak here before we get into it. But if you're on the podcast, make sure you go over to the video. We got some interesting things. We might show you a guitar. Who knows what else we're going to show you. And if you're on the live stream, make sure you go over to the podcast, Austin James Haines podcast. This will be uploaded in the next couple of days. So let me just share a little bit about John Bobak here. We talked about the quote that went viral, but I often say you never know who you're going to meet. Maybe we can share a little bit about that story.
Yeah, sure.
But you are a multifaceted human. The more I learn, it's like layers of the art, the music, the inspirational workbook, the poetry. We're going to get into all of it. But like I said, this quote went viral, and you just told me it was produced about 30 million times. And you're also the creator of the system for creating positive change, a system for creating positive change workbook. And I know we're going to get a visual on that today. You're the author of the poetry book, Cigarettes, Whiskey, and Armageddon, Musings on Death, Grief, and Loss. When I share that title, I've shared that title to a few folks. They're like, wow, it sounds like something that I got to read. But you're also a financial planner. You got your career's really blossoming. You're getting promoted, and you are a father and a loving husband. So I want to get into your story. First of all, let me just say hello and welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm glad to be here in my apartment.
Yeah, we're live. We're doing this live. I've been wanting to get in front of people because it's a different feel than just doing the virtual. So we're glad to do this. But I want to get into your story because we have a lot to cover today. And there's just so much. We're not going to be able to get to it all. But I want to get to your story because I know there's an iceberg. You're sitting on the couch here. You produced all these amazing things and you continue to produce, but there's a depth and there's things that happened to you in your life that pointed to you to produce this incredible art that you're manifesting. I would love to go back and maybe hit on some of these highlights. Like, what did you need to get free from? What moments happened to you that maybe you could point some clarity on? Give us some context. And, let's really get to know John Bobak today.
Well, I had kind of a traumatic kind of upbringing a little bit, there was, some abuse there. And, physical abuse, but
physical abuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, the death of my father was a big event,
and you write about some of that in the poetry book, correct?
I do. The poetry book it's about these moments from that were inspired by not only the death of my father, but also the death of my grandfather and my grandmother as well. They would just dark night of the soul, as you called it. Yeah,
I remember you speaking about that. You had a lot, like some death, really important people in close proximity.
Yeah, everybody does, but I just captured some of those moments in prose and poetry, Yeah.
Was there a moment that really gave you, did you have I'm sure there's multiple epiphanies, but do you remember?
That's my daughter's name, by the way.
That's right. That's right. That's your daughter. So it's perfect. That's great. Perfect segue into that. But do you have any, maybe that's what, did you name her that for that reason? Like, what was the?
Just because, her middle name is Ara Lua, which is Nigerian for present from God. you know. So just the whole epiphany, you know, it's just this like realization that there's more to life than just being a bachelor, you know. And you know, it took me a while, but I finally found the right woman, and I finally found, and finally had, a beautiful daughter.
So so now I'm digging here.
Mhm.
So you're living as a bachelor maybe, and you're thinking like, this is it. Like this, I'm a bachelor, right? And then you're like, this is my life.
Mhm.
And then you meet your beautiful wife, you get married, you have a daughter. And was there like an epiphany, like, oh my God, there's so much more to life that I didn't even know? Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Absolutely.
Can you speak to that? Because
And just having just having a baby just changes everything. You know what I mean?
what changed for you?
Like when she was born, like everything changed. Priorities change. Just
It's not about me.
it's
It's
not
not just
about
about
me.
me.
It's not
Right.
about just me anymore. Yeah, it's all about her. Yeah,
Right. She gets front and center, and all the love, and
yeah.
and you just I mean, I don't have any children, but I could just imagine it just changes you instantly, like
Mhm.
almost overnight, and just the love and all of it just
Mhm.
expands.
Mhm. Yeah. And then I had I guess the other pivotal moment was when I found my father. After he passed. You know, it was that was very traumatic as well. They say that the death of a parent is one of the most stressful um, times in your life. Along with moving and divorce and things like that.
Now, you said you found him. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I found I found him. Me and my mother had gone to, we both found him, basically. We had gone to the nursing home where he was, and we found him in bed.
And nobody knew. Like
Well,
you were the ones that found.
we were the ones that found him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
Really hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that fueled a lot of your writing and your art, and to be able to share this. Do you remember a moment you had something like that where you felt like, God, am I ever going to overcome this? Did you feel like a moment where, because I was reading your poetry, I know you've had some moments where you felt like
Yeah.
deep.
I think it's with the death of a loved one. It's basically like a weight that you have on you that you never get rid of, but you just develop new muscles and be able to carry that weight a little bit easier as time goes on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does actually. That does. That's a good way to put it, because loss is a part of life, and it can be a weight,
Mhm.
and you get stronger to carry it. That's a great metaphor.
Thanks.
So when did you start producing like the book, the art? Is this something you've been doing since you were young? Did you have an epiphany where you just came out?
Well, when I was young, I was like I just devoured self-help books.
When
Because
what age? You talking high school? You talking
even
college?
even earlier than that.
Even earlier than
Than high school. Yeah,
Wow.
probably like grade school. I just devoured, because when everybody, most people have some kind of level of dysfunction in their family, and you kind of look for those to kind of fill in those blanks, with these. I did, with these self-help books, and I kind of I distilled a lot of uh, that self-help into my book. All progress takes place outside the comfort zone.
and when did you complete that book?
When did I complete that book?
Let's pull it up since we're talking about it. We'll get a
Yeah,
visual on
it's
it.
right here.
And by the way, if you're listening live, feel free to go ahead and share this. We're streaming live on TikTok today. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. So what year did you get this book? Okay.
2019 was when I wrote the book, but the quote is from 2012.
Is that you created that quote, all
Mhm.
progress takes place outside the comfort zone.
Yeah.
You created that quote in 2012, or did you create it before 2012?
Probably before, but what happened was there was a website called the Board of Wisdom, and it had different quotes from different people, just ordinary people like me, and I put up that quote and some other quotes as well, and people just ran with it. People just started making memes. This guy contacted me. He said, I wanted to know, I saw your quote in the newspaper in New Delhi, and I wanted to know what it meant. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. And it's so you had this quote in 2012. Now you got the book, you copyrighted it pre-pandemic, by the way, which is so nothing so powerful as an idea whose time has come. And I've heard different versions of the quote, but this one is short, direct, and it's interesting. So you have people reaching out. But this is interesting. Let's talk about number 3. One of my themes this year for me is unlearning.
Mhm.
And I think this could be relative for a lot of the folks going through midlife. And your number of your super system, which you coin
Mhm.
in this workbook, which are these 10 concepts, if you will, and you
Mhm.
go into depth on them. And then you give people page by page so they can practice this.
Yeah.
But number 3 is why do rational, I'm paraphrasing, why do rational people make destructive, unrational decisions? And then you go in to talk about unlearning.
Yeah.
Can you speak that just a little bit? Because I think this is
Sure.
relevant to a lot of us we can think clearly, we think we know, but then we do things that harm us.
Mhm.
And that's what you talk about
Mhm.
in this number 3 of your super system here.
It's true. It's true. And the super system is successfully unlearning problematic ego-based reactions.
Let me pause.
Uh-huh.
Super system, and super is an acronym that stands for successfully unlearning problematic ego-based reactions. That is brilliant. Go ahead. Let's hear about number
Thank you.
3.
Number 3 is I am a rational human being who has learned some irrational, destructive thought patterns and reactions. I can unlearn them, and I vow that I will. These are a series of 10 vows that you make to
I
yourself
love this.
in order to create positive change in your life.
I love this because
Thank you.
what I love about it is you're bringing it to the light of what it is. You accept that. It's like acceptance. Like, I am a rational human being who has learned some irrational, destructive thought patterns and reactions. And I love, I can unlearn them. So you're making that vow or that declaration, and you say, I vow that I will. And how has that been a powerful catalyst in your life?
Well, that's a good question. I have to think about that for a second.
Well, it's okay, because we know, and I think it's important that we all know, all the audience, that we know that it's easier to put this stuff into print, isn't it?
It is. It
Right,
is than to
actually-
be put on the spot. But
Right.
But I could say, what I could say is that the opposite of love isn't hatred; it's fear.
The opposite of love is not hatred.
Mhm.
The opposite of love is fear.
Fear.
Okay.
And things like for instance, homophobia is fear of the unknown. Yeah, I'd be better off reading it than bringing it
Okay.
off the top of my head here. Let's see here. Fear is what stops us from realizing our full potential. The opposite of love isn't hatred, it's fear. Negative feelings towards ourselves and others spring from fear, like poison fruit on fear's gnarled branches. Hatred, prejudice, racism, sexism, and homophobia come from fear of the unknown, sometimes fear of one's own emotions,
Right.
and fear of losing power or privilege. Jealousy and envy arise from fear that someone is living a better life than you. Ageism is just the bitter product of the fear of death. Anger often comes from fear of losing control, And this is ironic because when we give in to anger, we often are out of control. And depression is anger turned inward.
Yeah,
And the
let's get a
idea is-
visual on the book here. Let me
Oh,
hold the
sure.
book up for our live audience. They can see it. And yeah, and you can get this. Is this available, or are you rebranding that one?
It's available on, from me
Okay.
right now.
All right, and
Yeah,
we'll get that.
I-
How can people connect to you, since we're like midway through? You're almost wrapping up here. What's the best way for folks to connect with you?
The best way to connect with me is probably on Facebook, to be honest.
Michael John Bobak.
Michael John Bobak.
Let's spell that out so folks are listening.
MICHAELJOHNBOBAK.
And it's easy to find. There's not. I think you might be the only one out there.
Yeah, I'm the only one.
Only one.
I believe.
That's great. It's a great name. Thanks for sharing that from your book.
Oh, you're welcome.
I really love that.
And basically the idea is not to react out of fear, but to respond out of love for yourself and for others.
And that's where you're talking about the unlearning part.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so you're not reacting from the ego like you would in the past. You're that perspective, you're tapping into love and then being able to respond
Right.
from that place. Is that
Yeah.
right?
And I'm not perfect. I used to react like that.
Well,
And I still do sometimes.
I think
when
we
you're
all
on the
do.
spot. I mean, everybody does.
but that's why we need the book. That's why you need the book, right? Oftentimes we write the book for ourselves because we all go through these things. I don't think it's, hey, I got it all figured out in the book. It's like, hey, it's almost like I'm guilty of these
learning
things.
to unlearn myself.
Exactly. We're all learning to unlearn ourselves. And let's go into presently. You got a new song that you're releasing, correct?
Yeah, well, it's a whole album.
It's a whole album. Talk
Yeah,
about
the album is called Dreaming on Your Frozen Sea.
Dreaming. Wow. Okay.
And
That's poetic right there.
thank you. Yeah, basically it's songs about the ocean, but each song taps into a different emotion.
So it's about the ocean.
Metaphor for
Now,
the ocean.
is it okay? You're from Norway. You're Norwegian, I should say.
Well, I'm Norwegian by descent. My father was straight from off the boat from Norway.
Do you think that your culture has anything to do with these themes that you're talking about?
It actually absolutely, because like the one song which is about it's about my father. See, my father actually was a shipbuilder. He built ships for the Navy Yard.
So your father built ships, but you also told me he was a violinist. So I want to hit that too. So your father was a shipbuilder in the Navy Yard.
Yeah, he was a shipbuilder in the Navy Yard, and my grandfather was a merchant marine.
So you got the ocean here, the theme, right?
Yeah.
That's why I asked that question, because I'm getting that feel that this book or this album you're going to release about the ocean. I'm wondering if that's like just a part of your ethos or your descendant.
Well,
lineage.
yeah. Well, this isn't the song that I'm going to play, but one of the songs is called Davy Jones, and
Okay.
it's, the chorus is Davy Jones will take my bones when I Davy Jones will take my bones. I'm drawing a blank here.
That's okay. That's a good hook, Davy. I mean, you already got me
Jones
interested.
will take my bones.
Yeah, like what's he going to take my bones? But let's hear what's this song here. This is not released yet, right?
This is not released yet.
Okay.
This is called Mermaid.
All right, let's hear it. We should be able to get the audio on here.
And the emotion here is sexual.
Okay.
in the middle of the ocean. We out here all by our lonesome. Lord, me in what the poets call the little death. Lost inside you, I cannot catch a single breath. Mermaid, drown me inside you. Mermaid, when you feel so good. Mermaid, know just how to breathe. Mermaid, drowning never felt so free.
Wow, that's really great. Your music. Can we dim that? I want to talk about this. This is
Lovely mermaid, I sank into.
and maybe you'll let us put the full track on there. I don't know. We'll talk about that. If you'll let us, or at least half of it. But
Sure.
What I love about your music is I heard it live, fortunately, and as I'm listening here, it just kind of pulls you in, like the music pulls you in, and it kind of captivates you in a way. Did you get that feedback before, or?
No, actually, not those particular words. I did think of the lyric that I was trying to do. What I was trying to say was, because my grandfather was a merchant marine, my dad was a shipbuilder, and so I made this song called Davy Jones, and the song is about like if we were all pirates, and it just it starts out with like based in reality on my grandfather, for the most part. And then it starts to get into the fictional with my dad, being a sailor and going down with the ship and all that, and then it goes to just like to me, just it's Davy Jones will take my bones when I hang up my captain's hat. On the fickle sea is where you'll find me, and that, my lads, is that. Beneath the waves, I'll find my grave. My fondest desire, sea water in my veins, I'm not to be tamed. Sailing through wind and rain and blood and fire.
I love that, man. That's a poem, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is really good. Magnus Matthias, for those on TikTok, and I just thought a great song title, like I could have been a pirate. Could have been a pirate or something. That just talking about you and this idea that if you would have back in the day.
Yeah, I thought it was just a little like comic relief in there with all these deep songs about different emotions,
Very good, very good. What's in the future? What are you looking forward to? Get Free. We talked about that. Presently, what you're working on. What's your vision? Do you have a vision where you just kind of live in the moment? What do you?
Well, I do have a vision. I have a lot more albums in me besides this one, for one thing. I work as a financial planner, and just recently made a contact that's going to allow me to help a lot of people in in underrepresented communities like the Spanish community, and I want to help people in other communities as well. That's why I do what I do as a financial planner, because I like to help people get everybody uses money and everybody needs help, education, and getting their financial house in order.
And you're getting promoted, and I think it's because you are heart-centered. I think you care. Today there's a lot of chase money And you are out there, and I know the model is like you just sit down with people and you offer sound guidance and hear them out, learn about what their challenges are.
Yeah.
And then they can choose to work with you if they want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
We give people free financial advice, and then we just give them education and information, and then they decide what they need.
Yes. But it's great that you had this opportunity to reach the Spanish community, which I know it'll be well received, because folks are looking for reasons and things to get advice to learn in this, especially in these trying times. And it's just, you got this balanced, logical part working on money, being able to handle money, and you got this creative sides like you're developing. So your vision, let's get back to your vision.
Mm-hmm. My vision is just, I just love being creative, and, whether it's with music or art, I just love to create. I love to I actually surround myself with my creations. I have a lot of art here, and I just did a new one. It's called Sticky Yggdrasil. It's basically a combination of Yggdrasil.
Do you want to share it? Do you want to just share it right now?
Yeah, sure. I could do that.
Yeah, we'll get that. I'm going to do a little promo here, and then we're going to come back. We're going to see the art. Let everybody know I have a poetry book coming out called Seeds of Infinitude, and I'm going to be taking this podcast on the road around the country. It's going to be a world tour, more on that. But let's take a look at the Seeds of Infinitude.
So here's
all right. We're back. So let's see.
Here's the painting.
I think if you hold it back, yeah.
There
you go. People can see it.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's called Sticky Yggdrasil. It's basically a combination of Yggdrasil, which is the Norse tree of life, and the tree of knowledge. And because of the tree of knowledge, the leaves have eyes on them.
Yeah.
And this is like the god figure here, and this metal hat here made of water is Odin.
Talk about Odin. For those
Odin is the chief Norse god. He has one eye. He has two ravens, thought and memory.
Got it.
That translate to thought and memory. Yeah, he's the interesting thing about the Norse gods is they were supposed to be based on heroes. They were just heroes. They were just warriors that became bigger than life in people's minds. It's funny, the guy who wrote the stories, the Norse stories where the gods came from, was his name. He sounded like a Muppet. His name was Snorri Snarlston.
I think I've heard that before. It kind of, and it's interesting. It kind of mimics, I don't know the time period, but Greek mythology was all about that as well. These heroes, these gods, right? Semi-human, all that kind of thing.
Sort of, but more so with the Norse.
More so, gods. More so, gods.
More so, I mean, I would not be surprised at all if like Thor and Odin and all like existed and were actual people, but they were just warriors.
Right. Sensationalized over time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, this has been amazing. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? This has been, first of all, how's this been for you being on here? Did you enjoy
this has been a lot of fun. It's been great, and it's been informative. It's made me think. I really appreciate you coming here and talking to me.
Yeah, we're in your apartment, and I'll tell you, if you're on this, we're gonna hang out on TikTok, and we're gonna tell the story about how Michael and I met, because it's an interesting story. And we're going to stream live on TikTok. So we're doing that now, Austin J. Haines. And then you'll be able to connect with Magnus Matthias. There.
My stage name.
It's a stage name, right.
Yeah.
Is Magnus Matthias. You'll be able to connect with Michael John Bobak there. And we'll have some fun there on TikTok for a little bit. We'll wrap it up. This has been a great time. I've enjoyed this thoroughly, coming here, being in your apartment.
I have as well.
Overlooking the buildings outside here on Super Bowl Sunday at the time of recording this. And I'm sure this will be one look back on. Again, if you are live, go over to the podcast, Austin James Haines. You'll find it on Spotify, Apple, all those things. And if you're on the podcast, we did talk about, let's show your guitar. We want to give you a visual. If you are on the podcast, come over, check out the video. It's Austin J. Haines at YouTube. You can look that up. You'll find it. You can look up Michael John Bobak as well. And we're going to show this guitar as we exit here today and get ready for, some folks will be getting ready for the big Super Bowl. What kind of guitar is this?
This is a Washburn acoustic electric.
Is this the one you played live at the World Cafe?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to talk about that story, but thanks for being on the live broadcast. Look for this on the podcast when you get the playback with some editing. That's why we do the podcast. We do the live as kind of a complimentary thing to supplement this. But thanks so much, everyone. We're so glad you're here. Just remember, just think about that. Get free, stay present, move forward. And let's just close with your number 3 again on that topic of that vow. What was that vow?
Okay. I'm a rational human being who has learned some irrational thought patterns, and I can unlearn them as well, and I vow that I will. Get outside the comfort zone.
Get outside the comfort zone. Go follow Michael John Bobak on Facebook. Connect with him there. Send him a message. Find out what he's up to, because I know, as we're sitting here today, I know there's going to be a lot of exciting, great things coming for you, musically, inspirationally, and who knows what else. So thanks so much, everyone. We're so glad you're here. Thanks. We're going to be hanging out on TikTok. Give me a. I know you got your hand here, but we'll talk about that story too.
I would love to play the guitar, but unfortunately, I sprained my wrist and fractured my elbow on the way back from playing Austin's fundraiser.
We'll tell that story. We're going to tell that story on TikTok here. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye for now.